I'm from Nekota and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ken Godler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Rakiraki and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in Landslide Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from Labasa. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Good evening, I'm Amrita Priya Darshni and this is FBC News. Tonight, heavy rain warning for the Fiji group cancelled. Flood waters recede in Rakiraki. And risk of flooding still remains for Rewa. A heavy rain warning previously in force for the Fiji group is now cancelled. Tropical depression 04F was located at about 310 kilometers west-northwest of Nadi at midday today. It is slowly moving and the center is expected to remain to the far west of Fiji. The Fiji Meteorology Office says though the system is moving away, localized heavy rain is still forecast. The weather is expected to improve further tonight and tomorrow. A flood warning remains in force for low-lying areas. Rakiraki town was also forced to shut down early yesterday afternoon due to flooding. For some residents, the strong winds and torrential rain brought back harrowing memories of TC Winston. Alan Stolz has more.
Floodwaters last night blocked off access to some roads in Rakiraki, and water also overflowed into nearby properties.
And especially some of my friends from Rakiraki village and up to Dolasi, they came across to do the shopping. They never going yesterday because of the flood.
The town was mostly spared by the floods, but people in low-lying areas struggled to make their way to higher grounds.
I'm standing here in FSC Road in Rakiraki, one of the many places that was flooded last night as heavy rainfall combined with the high tide that peaked around 9 p.m. flooded this whole area. I spoke to some residents who live just near Ngalo Road, which was also flooded, and they said that the strong winds and the increase in rainfall last night reminded them of their fears when they had went through the same experience during Tropical Cyclone Winston.
It was a sleepless night for Meli Navama as he recalls events from last evening when strong winds and heavy rain brought floodwaters to his doorstep.
When
we heard the news of this bad weather, we were very afraid. As we heard the winds become stronger, we got even more afraid because Tropical Cyclone Winston also caused so much damage to our little home. It's hard because now the road is blocked off and flooded, and it's hard to get to the shops now.
Visiting his family in FSC compound, Luke Ivaluvo says his plans to return to Lambasa were disrupted due to the tropical depression.
Our plan is just to finish off with this weather, hopefully by next week, if the weather is okay, so we can go back to Lambasa.
As floodwaters slowly receded this afternoon, cane fields were inundated with water, debris were visible from the roads, and some had no choice but to go about their daily business in the rain. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Now, parts of Coro are still under floodwaters after heavy rain throughout the night. Many people were stranded on the highway as they tried to make their way home, while others used punts and canoes to get across. Savara Tambua tells us more.
Low-lying areas in Coro are still under several feet of water. Many of them are farms which are completely destroyed. FBC News arrived in Coro just after midday as water levels were receding. People traveling from Noso were finally able to make it into town. Others who couldn't wait were ferried across on boats this morning.
Place was flooded this morning and vehicles could not cross to the other side. It was funny to see that some were transported by boat. This morning the water level reached higher but now it has receded.
Heard before that this area used to be flooded during heavy downpour, but this time I've actually seen it for myself.
This is not the first time for this area to be flooded, and according to the Commissioner Central, Rakiraki, they are to ensure that the safety of the public is paramount. Commissioner Central Rakiraki says that they are monitoring the situation not only in Coro town but other low-lying areas which were flooded due to heavy rain last night.
As of now, we are continuing to monitor the situation. In the morning the rise was pretty rapid. We noticed that had slowed down now, and we hope the trend will continue into the afternoon.
Tale is thankful to members of the public who follows instruction at this time and is hoping people will continue to take heed of warnings. Sabera Tamboa, FBC News.
Well, the country has been witnessing multiple flooding in various parts, and the Rewa Delta area turned into a danger zone this morning. Due to continuous heavy rain throughout last night, the Raa River burst its bank and flood waters affected those living in low-lying areas. Shirin Shivan reports.
The water level at the Raa River surpassed the critical level of 4 meters at around 10 a.m., triggering floods in many areas. Syria Park and the surrounding areas were underwater. Nasilai Nosori resident Netani Seru told FBC News that water level rose due to the high tide.
We just came in this morning at Nosori town. We see Syria Park, the water was rising up this morning. In Nasilai Fida Road, the situation is the same as Syria Park, Syria. In Syria Park now, weather too is bad. Rain from Tuesday until today. We shift to Woody Road this morning.
At around midday, the water level reached 4.4 meters. This caused flooding in a number of villages in Tonga. Tonga Road is still inaccessible. We further drove down to a farming community in Baulevu. Residents here were at that time preparing to leave for higher grounds as flood waters had reached their farms.
1 week finished, still heavy rain, flood coming, now still flood is going up and the crops are damaging.
It's have been very bad because it's too much rain here, very heavy rain, and due to this rain there's a flood, a lot of flood here at the back of the creek too. Our farms have been damaged. Like we have planted plenty of crops, cucumber, pumpkin, beans and okra, all have been damaged, all are underwater.
The National Disaster Management Office is advising villages and communities situated along and near the Raa River and Delta areas to move to higher grounds or an evacuation center as a precaution. Shirin Shivan, FBC News.
Rachel Nath is currently in Rewa, where the flood alert remains in place and flood waters continue to gradually increase. Rachel, what is the situation there at the moment?
Yes, Amrita. So as you can see behind me, the water level continues to rise from what it was earlier today. At around at midday today, the water levels were at 4 meters. However, at 6 p.m., it increased to 7.8 meters, which is about 2.28 meters above the warning level. So obviously the water levels continues to rise, and behind me is where the Syria Park is situated, and currently it's completely underwater. When we were here in the last hour, since we've been here in the last hour, we've noticed that the benches that are here, they weren't underwater, but now they have eventually been under the water. And so as the rain has started as well. It's light showers, and it's not as strong, but light showers, of course. And another thing to note is that the current in these waters are fairly strong. Hence, the National Disaster Management Office is advising everyone that is living along the delta to move to higher grounds. It's important that safety remains paramount at times like this, and that everyone that lives on the delta can move to the evacuation center, which for this area is the ACS school, which is about 5 minutes down the road from here. But as for now, the water levels continues to rise, and if this rain, if it continues to rain, then it's definitely going to be a scary sight for those that live along the delta. Back to you, Amrita.
Thank you, Rachel, for that update. Now, the Saani area was also affected by floods. This was the scene at around 2 p.m. when floodwaters started receding slowly. The people remain in their homes. All roads in Saani are accessible to vehicles and pedestrians. Coming up on FPC News, over 3,000 people still living in tents. And families escape death after landslide. Stay with us.
May nakaulebu na tiala tilebu au saborong tunga en radio Fijian nando may biti na buang ganbiyan yato
ebi nakabeyaw radio Fijian nando may biti na buang ganbiyan na evangoliti ay Rakiraki
ke mami na marama ni Northland ke mami daw talenta ka na radio Fijian nando may biti na buang ganbiyan yato
na radio Fijian nando may biti na buang ganbiyan yato.
Welcome back. You're with FPC News. A little over 3,000 people living in tents after TC Winston are said to be at risk from flooding caused by TD04F. Another 844 have fled their homes due to rising waters and are tonight living in evacuation centres. Edwin Nunn reports.
Emergency authorities say the worst is not yet over and we need to stay vigilant, especially those living in tents.
For Central remains at 223, for the Eastern Division 234, for the Northern Division 158. Western has dramatically increased to 2,475, bringing a total of the people who are still, the households or the families who are still living in tents with 3,090.
A majority of these families, 2,158 people, are in Raa. Others are in Tavua, Lotoka and Ba. People who've evacuated their homes due to floodwaters are currently in evacuation centres across Fiji.
For Central Division, there are 10. The total evacuees 350. For Eastern Division, there are 38. Total evacuees 326. For the Northern Division, 5 evacuation centres with 79 evacuees. For the Western Division, 5 with 89 evacuees. So the total, we have now 58 evacuation centers that are activated with a total number of 844 people.
The National Disaster Management Office continues to monitor the situation and advises Fijians to remain vigilant.
The evacuation centers are available throughout the 4 divisions and people should use them as a refuge for safety because of the current situation. We also would like to encourage, especially for our children and for our youths, playing and swimming in flooded rivers are discouraged, and there are still people who are also visiting and swimming in seas. We have not gone back to normalcy, so the situation for the public, they should be, they take heed of the advice that are being given.
People in flood-affected areas need to keep an eye out for high tide at 11 o'clock tonight, which could see water levels rising again. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
Dozens of families in Saani have been forced to leave their homes following a landslide triggered by continuous heavy rain over the past week. The landslide destroyed a house completely and left other nearby houses in jeopardy. Rachel Nath with the story.
Home for more than 10 years now will no longer be a place where this family resides. Ravinesh Prasad and his family are considering themselves fortunate after escaping injury-free from this landslide.
I trekked where the muddy water was seeping from and noticed the landslide. I quickly woke my brother, sister-in-law and niece who were sleeping inside the house.
Nearby residents are fearful as they cannot predict when the next slip will occur and have decided to take precautionary measures now.
We have taken all our stuffs out of the house and moved into our neighbor's place. However, all our neighbors are also considering to move out of here as it is not safe.
Kumar says the relevant authorities have inspected the site.
The advisory councillor has visited our house and says he will provide assistance. However, it has been 3 days and we still haven't heard from them.
Tropical Depression 04F is slowly moving out of Fiji, leaving behind a disastrous trail in many parts of the country. Rachel North, FBC News.
Now, road access has been reduced to a single lane at Kasavu-Baulevu Road junction in Rewa due to a landslide. The Fiji Roads Authority says they are monitoring the situation, and while one lane remains open, there could be a full closure if there are further slips. The Kings Road up to Coro town is now open to traffic. The Queens Road is also open to all traffic. Major damage has been reported at Rakiraki village on Gamea Island following a massive landslide early this morning. The health centre and nursing station have been pushed out to sea, while the primary school has been damaged. The community hall has also suffered severe damage. 3 homes in the village have burned down due to the landslide. There have been no reports of injuries and families have moved to safety. Meanwhile, 2 homes in Tongo village, also on Gamea Island, were displaced due to a landslide this morning. An adult suffered injuries and has been taken to the Wayavu hospital. 10 people from Navivi village are sheltering at the primary school due to flooding. Road access in Vaisari outside Lamy has again been reduced to a single lane following a 3rd landslide yesterday. Fulton Hogan Highways is working to clear out the road and putting in place precautionary measures for public safety. Traffic flow is being managed by workers. Lambasa was also not spared by Tropical Depression 04F, but the effects were minimal. Some low-lying areas, streams and bridges were under flood waters this morning. The Bulileka and Urata bridges were under water. The Mawalu to Daria road is closed due to a landslide and flooding. The tourism industry has now become a leading contributor towards the Fijian economy. This has been made possible through a lot of hard work and dedication by many. Our successful Fijian tonight is Patrick Wong, a man who pioneered many projects to take the tourism industry to new heights. Vaishnil Prasad reports.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Spending 35 years in the tourism industry and still going strong, those of you who are not familiar with Patrick Wong could remember him as a former rugby player born in Lautoka.
I'm actually 2nd generation Chinese out of Fiji, hometown of Lautoka. Went to school in Suva, basically been boarding almost all my life since I was 11 years old. And then basically from boarding school went to higher studies in New Zealand, in Australia, and came back home in 1985.
58-year-old gained recognition through his sporting career from rugby and then switched to boxing, where he traveled around the world representing Fiji.
After that, I did move on and started boxing as well. And, the reason I did boxing was I wanted to see the world. And we went on a YMCA rugby tour to Australia. And then during that tour I had 3 fights.
Wong's interest in tourism came through his parents, who had a restaurant and a nightclub in the 1960s in Lautoka.
I actually grew up in Lautoka on the wharf. My father had a restaurant and nightclub there. Well-known nightclub and restaurant called Raymond's Nightclub. And during the course of growing up there, I saw a lot of the pioneers. Pioneers as in who actually, opened up the tourism industry, pioneers of the tourism industry.
Wong is the first local general manager of Mana Island Resort and Spa, taking up the leading role last year. Yes. He first took up the manager's post at the Turtle Island Resort, after which he traveled around Fiji, managing almost 8 resorts.
3 years there, then I went on and worked for Plantation for about 7 years. I was involved with Raffles Gateway. Initially it was Castaway Gateway, and then it was in receivership, and the owners of Plantation bought a gateway. So I was involved with that too as well. After Plantation, I went on to open up Kusto Fiji Island Resort in Savasau.
Wong did a tourism and hotels course in Australia. He was also the chairman of the Tourism Fiji for 4 years, leaving the job in 2010.
My area is actually expertise is mainly offshore island resorts, Had the chance to join corporate chains, but I feel resorts, I get a lot more satisfaction.
Wong, who has spent nearly half of his life serving the tourism industry, says the market has grown over the years. For him, there is no age barrier, and he plans to continue serving the industry for many more years.
As long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I'm fit, tourism has been very good to me and my family.
It's not an easy task to oversee a resort full of visitors from around the world, and we should appreciate the locals who take up this huge responsibility, making Fiji as a travel destination and showcasing the Fijian hospitality to lure more tourists into the country. Vashnil Prasad, FBC News.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
And Nolian Dawai makes a dream start for his new club. This and more coming up.
Bula, I'm Duri from Nasinu Market. My choice is simple, Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
My name is Yvonne. I'm from Nandi. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Sayandra, my name is Saani. Only the Gold FM at Golden Point Resort, Rakiraki.
Hi, I'm Anna of Nasinu. When it comes to a radio, my choice is always Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
My name is Anna and I'm from Nandi. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome to FBC Sports. Fiji football star Roy Krishna was once again the hero for the Wellington Phoenix in the A-League match played against the Western Sydney Wanderers last night. Krishna scored a goal and helped in setting another goal for the Phoenix side as they held Western Sydney 2-2. Vodafone Flying Fijians forward Nolian Dawai scored a try on his debut for Conad as they beat Wasp 2018 this morning. Dawai signed with his new club last week and straight away made the impact by scoring the winning try for the side. The Flying Fijian has become a prominent member of the Fiji 15 side after making his debut in the June internationals earlier this year. Well, the Fiji Rugby Union has today confirmed the appointment of Jeff Webster as the General Manager Rugby for a term of 3 years. Webster comes to this position after 22 years of coaching experience in Ireland and Portugal. Prior to taking up his new role, he was employed with Athlete's Foot as Group Chief Operations Manager. Webster commenced his new role at the FRU on the 8th of December 2016. Not a surprise, rain and showers continued over most places today. Shallow tropical depression 04F remains to the far west of Fiji. Associated rain bands affect the western parts of the country. Meanwhile, another active trough with cloud and rain affects the eastern parts of the group. The temperatures in Nandi recorded the highest temperature at 31 degrees. Lautoka was on 30, Suva, Ba and Lambasa were on 28, while Sabasaba was the coolest at 27 degrees. Taking a look at tomorrow, periods of rain, heavy at times and few thunderstorms over the western parts of Vitilevu, Yasawa, Mamanuza and Lao group. Rain easing to showers tomorrow. Elsewhere, occasional showers, heavy at times with isolated thunderstorms. As for Tuesday, occasional showers over most places. Recapping the main stories. Heavy rain warning for the Fiji group cancelled. Floodwaters recede in Rakiraki. And villagers situated along the Raa River have been urged to move to higher ground as risk of flooding still remains. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. Now to our poll question. This week we are asking, should drunk drivers' licenses be suspended on the spot? To answer, visit our FBC website. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizens@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. Or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us those news tips at FBC News, or simply hashtag FBC News. From the team and I, have a good week and good night.
It's me Simsta here right from the Rakiraki town. और सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट शो में मैं सुनता हूँ, जब ब्रेकफास्ट शो में रहता है अश्लील और संगीता के साथ, इसी के साथ सुनते सुनते 11 से 2 भाभी जी का शो जितेन शामिल. You know something? Rakiraki मिर्ची FM is hot.
मैं हूँ श्वेता, दुर्गुशा नर्सरी से. लोग देखते हैं ईद का चांद, लेकिन मेरा चांद तो मिर्ची FM है.
हमारा नाम जाबिर है, हम कोरनिविया नसोरी में रहता है. मिर्ची FM हम सब टाइम सुनता है. मिर्ची FM बहुत जुलूम है. मिर्ची FM इज हॉट.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.